No matter how much or how little you earn, the most important thing you can possibly do to achieve or maintain financial freedom is to save a certain percentage of your income. But this is far easier said than done. According to reports, 62% of Americans don't even have enough cash in the bank to cover 3 months of living expenses, and as a result, they live their life on the edge of financial disaster. Everyone knows that saving money is important and that they should stick to a budget and avoid unnecessary spending. So then why do people still waste money on dumb purchases? Because knowing something is bad for you doesn't necessarily make it easy to stop doing it. That's why there are doctors who smoke, nutritionists who eat junk food, and financial advisors who gamble. To solve the core problem, I turn to my personal experiences as well as psychology research papers to figure out how you can make saving money as effortless as possible for the rest of your life. Number 1. Things have a happiness cap. I'm sure you've heard about the study saying that money doesn't make you happier beyond $75,000 per year. It seems to make a lot of sense, and I used to fully agree with this statement, until I read a different research paper. It's titled, "If Money Doesn't Make You Happy, Then You Probably Aren't Spending It Right." And it truly changed my entire perspective on the relationship between money spent and happiness. The paper highlights a few key principles that you can follow when it comes to spending money that will directly increase your happiness levels. It all starts from a simple realization. More stuff does not mean more happiness. For instance, during my late teens and early 20s, I had a phase where I would spend money without really thinking about it. If I saw a cool new pair of shoes, I would click Add to Cart. Expensive leather gloves? Add to Cart. You get the picture. I was obsessed with purchasing anything that seemed flashy or cool because I imagined that I would become a happier person if I owned nicer things. As it turned out, I was wrong. Before I knew it, my room was cluttered, and it started to make me feel like my life was cluttered. The funny part is that when I moved out from my parents' house, I sold or gave away about 80% of my stuff because I didn't want to haul it with me to my new house. Essentially, it was all a waste of money that took up space and didn't actually make me any happier. Now, I prefer owning only things that I use on a regular basis, but I spend money to make sure these items are high quality, so they last a long time and improve my life in some way. And this strategy has made me much more relaxed and happy. One way to view these material possessions is to see them simply as tools that either make your life easier, more comfortable, or more convenient. You buy them, you use them, and then they fade into the background until you need them again. But they don't make you happier in the long term. All this ties into the very first principle in the research paper, which suggests that one of the key ways to use money to buy happiness is to buy more experiences and fewer material goods. It explains that experiences are far better than things because we get used to things more quickly. So the stuff I used to own became unnoticed. I didn't feel any different without those items. But in contrast, your memory of seeing or going on that once-in-a-lifetime road trip with your friends from school will continue to provide happiness. And the second reason why experiences tend to be better than things when it comes to spending money is that we are more likely to mentally revisit our experiences than we are to our things, or to the day we bought something. So our minds have a tendency to think back to experiences. And when we recall an experience or a specific event, we don't just remember that event, we bring back the feelings and the connection we felt at the time as well. And so the study suggests that, in part, our experiences are more centrally connected to our identities. Recognizing this, and just being mindful of it every time you're on the cusp of buying some intangible item you don't necessarily need, will give you more of a reason to stop yourself and think about either saving it or using it to spend on an experience that will shape who you are. The second strategy is changing your narrative. The reason most people find it really hard to save money is because delaying gratification is much harder than choosing instant gratification. It's much easier to just buy something that makes us excited in the moment because our brains give us a huge boost in dopamine. It's like our brain is giving us a reward for spending spontaneously instead of saving for later. Let me show you 2 ways to solve this instant gratification problem. The first way is mentioned in a different research paper, and the second way is my own idea that I've never heard anyone talking about before. The paper suggests that if we attach meaning to our savings, we can increase the value of the future rewards in the present. And there's a study that supports this idea from a paper titled "Leveraging Psychological Fit to Encourage Saving Behavior." The study analyzes the saving rate between 2 groups of Indian households. The first group is asked to save as much as they can on a weekly basis. And then the second group is asked to save as much as they can on a weekly basis, but they're asked to put those savings in an envelope with a photo of their children on it. They're told that the envelope of cash will be given to their kids. After 15 weeks, those that had saved in the envelope with a photo on it had saved about 12% more than the group without the meaning attached to the saving. Not only did those households save more, but they were also less likely to burn through those savings through spending afterwards. We're all wired differently, and take pleasure and have an appreciation for different things. And the paper clearly suggests that not all savings goals are created equal. While saving for a new car might be a motivating factor for one newly married couple or for one person, it may not be so motivating for another person who would rather save for their children's higher education. To bridge the gap between wanting to save more money and actually saving more money, we need to understand what truly drives us to make those sacrifices today. It's common advice for people to just save money for the sake of saving money. But this tends to be very ineffective because saving money isn't exactly fun, and not having a clear reason to do it makes it even harder. It makes it feel like you're missing out. But when you have a reason to save, it becomes infinitely easier. Maybe you hate renting your home and would much rather have a place you can call your own because it will give you peace of mind and a sense of control. Then saving for a deposit for a house purchase might be the thing that drives you to save more. Or maybe you hate the idea of someone else controlling your time and telling you what to do, and you'd much rather start your own business or side hustle. Then maybe having an education fund to enhance your knowledge and skills, or a business fund to help you start your own passive income business would be the perfect motivator for you. Speaking of passive income, I found a really cool way to earn passive income online that 99% of the population has never even heard of. If you want to learn more, click the link in the description to get all the details. Now here's the second solution to the instant gratification problem, and I came up with it myself. It's possible to get instant gratification and save money at the same time. What I like to do is channel my inner shopping energy towards purchasing index funds. If I'm in the mood to spend money, I might as well buy something that will make me more money. I find that I get almost the same dopamine hit when I drop $1,000 on a broad market index fund as I do when I buy a new gadget. Maybe I'm just weird, but it's worth a try. So next time you find yourself with some extra cash burning a hole in your pocket, consider spending it on an index fund instead of a new pair of Air Jordans. Strategy 3 is automating your savings. While adding an emotional attachment to something can make saving easier, a foolproof way of saving money is to set up a system where you don't have to rely on your willpower or emotions at all. One of the easiest ways to do that is to set up a direct debit transfer that automatically takes a portion of your paycheck as soon as you get paid and puts it into a savings account. Most banks also have systems that allow you to automatically use the money to purchase stocks or index funds, so that your cash doesn't sit in a savings account and lose value to inflation. This way, you can go about your monthly spending having already adjusted for the lower amount that you have available. Eventually, you forget that you're living on less than you could because your extra money is out of sight automatically. An alternative solution that some tech-savvy people use is to go for specific accounts that round up your spending to the nearest dollar every time you spend money, and then it saves and invests the difference. So for example, if you spend $4.35, it will round up to the next dollar, so it'll round up to $5. And the difference, the 65 cents, will be saved and invested for you in the background automatically. The only problem with this method is that it requires spending more in order to save more. So if you had to pick just one, I would pick the first strategy. But since you're going to be spending some money anyway, I would recommend using both of these methods to really boost your savings. Now let's talk about strategy 4, which is understanding different focal points. This one is truly a lifelong challenge because finding the right balance between enjoying the present and making sacrifices for the future will depend on many factors in our life. For example, when I was younger, I prioritized fun, spontaneous activities, like dropping a few $100s to go skydiving on a random Wednesday, or dropping $200 on a live concert. But this came at a cost. I never had money saved up despite having a decent source of income. As I've gotten a bit older, I still enjoy fun activities, but I prefer to sacrifice spontaneity by planning things out in advance. This allows me to still have fun experiences, but at a fraction of the cost. But it does require more careful planning. And that's fine. I'm learning exactly how and where I want to spend, and cutting out the meaningless purchases that don't add value to my life. True balance, I've learned, isn't about strictly following one philosophy or another. It's about trying different things out, figuring out what makes you happy, and adjusting your spending habits based on that. But what if you were filthy rich and could truly afford to buy whatever you wanted? How would you spend your money to live the best life possible? Watch my summary of the best-selling book, Die with Zero, to find out. I'll see you there.